That's recording on here. Yep. And we'll set the other machine running. Alrighty, guys. So let us get the presentation up. We're going to get into this, and I'll just keep an eye out for these other guys. See if they turn up, they turn up, and we'll get on with it. Okay. Okay, got you guys here on one side of the screen. Okay, so thanks for coming live, and also the screen sharing will come up in a sec. And thanks to everyone else who's watching this later. So welcome to Marketing and Manifesting Your Business. Free webinar. This is to give you a taster for the full training, which runs on the 16th and 17th of September. This training, or this taster is, and the training is a response to quite a few of you guys, because it's practitioners only, Centre for Conscious Ascension practitioners, asking me, how do I run the business? How do Amir and I run these businesses? How do we do the sales funnels, marketing, all the webinars, which are very successful? And Amir and I, because Amir runs the Centre for Love and Enlightenment, but we used to run Centre for Conscious Ascension together up to about 2008. We realized that the greatest challenge you guys face is how to take the knowledge we share with you in terms of initiating you to becoming a practitioner in soul contract work and divine healing and light body. How do you take that actually out in the world and turn it into a real business? How do you go from the bubble of the training into the reality of the muddy trenches of marketing in the real world? It's a massive jump. And most practitioners are not naturally spiritual entrepreneurs, not naturally business people, very good at being practitioners, but it's a completely different skill set required to actually run a business using this. And so, and this is my answer. This is why I'm here. Okay. I'm here to share that knowledge. I'll give you a taste of it today, the sharing of that knowledge, so that you can actually turn this passion you have for the therapies we've trained you in into a business. Okay, because there's a whole lot of energetics behind that, which is what I'll share a little bit of today. Okay, so my mission is to help you manifest your mission of service. In my soul contract, I have 3s, and I want to see the result of teaching you. I want to see you actually out there making a difference. So, and this is why we came up with this. It's just an introduction, though, today, and the actual 2-day training in September is also just an introduction, because it takes between 18 months to 24 months of regular coaching training to become a proper spiritual entrepreneur, because it's a different mindset. And if you have been a corporate slave in the slave matrix, you don't have that mindset at all. But if you've already been a practitioner, you have a bit of it, or maybe a lot of it. So this is about giving structures to your 11-2s if you have them. How many of you guys got 11-2s here? It's got 11-2s. I've got 11-2s. Okay, to give you structure on how this actually works. Okay. All right. So I want to know why you are here. Okay, because this sets the intention for our little webinar. So what I'd like you guys to do is just to introduce yourself, name, where you come from, and what brought you here, and what your intention is for this little taste of it. Then it sort of sets the energy for the whole thing. So just a couple of minutes each. So who would like to go first? The more you put in, the more you get out of this. So remember,
okay.
Big wave, so I can see you, not a little dainty wave. So thank you, Laura.
Okay, so I'm Laura. I'm over in Scotland, in Glasgow, and I'm a practitioner in sort of various modalities, but I've recently come into divine healing, which I'm very interested in. And I'd really like a proper idea how to market it. Because there's, I don't know, there's certain sort of levels to this. There's like sort of kind of public facing, and then there's actually like the internet side of it as well. So it's as I'm just kind of like sort of starting out in this, so it'd be good to actually sort of have a bit more insight into it.
Yeah. Okay. So we're not going to turn you into an entrepreneur in 2 hours, but we're going to give you a little bit of a taste of what we do in the main training, so you can start to see what you need to learn. Okay. Because conventional understanding of marketing this sort of material doesn't work. Okay. Conventional marketing doesn't work either with these sort of businesses. So we're going to teach you how it really does work, what actually can create your business. Okay. Because conventional marketing is based upon lack, greed, competition, low consciousness, whereas this is based upon love, open-heartedness, and service. Complete opposite to what you've all been exposed to.
Well, this was the thing. I was doing QHHT, and I'm finding people in front of me that like sort of we've got like sort of quite a few things in common. Then there could be traits or whatever, programs, whatever that I've had that I'm now working with them on.
What's
And
QHHT?
it's a kind of it's
What's
the
QHHT?
quantum healing hypnosis technique.
Yeah. So
Hypnosis.
yeah, so we're not talking about the actual techniques, okay? We're talking about the structure of how to become a spiritual entrepreneur, how to become a spiritual business person, okay? How to actually take whatever therapy you do and turn it into a business with using
Yeah.
using conscious energies. It's not about the therapy, it's about the process of wrapping a business structure around that therapy so you can make a difference in the world and in a living. That's what we're talking about here.
Yeah, I was just thinking of like from a universal aspect. It was like people were getting drawn in to me so that I was dealing with them rather than, I mean, they could sit there with a list of 20 names and they came to me. And I'm just wondering if this works the same way, because you'd said previously something about, like the practitioners, if somebody writes into the Centre for Conscious Ascension, you would find the right person, the right practitioner and you'd be so you'd be matched with like a potential client.
Well, we discuss that on the main training, how people get attracted to you, that sort of stuff. But
Yeah.
today we're not going anywhere near that level of detail. This is a very top-down to our taste, okay? Because it's a very big subject, being trained to become a spiritual entrepreneur. It's not something you can do in a few days or even weeks. And the idea is to give you an overall structure so you realize the enormity of what you've got to do to actually make this viable. And unless you grasp that and put the work in, it won't happen. A lot of our practitioners struggle. Some end up going back to the enormous 3D jobs because they don't have the structure for actually creating a proper business. Okay, so this is introduction to the idea, or introduction to the introduction. That's what we're doing here. So we won't be going into the nitty gritty or anything like that. This is very top level, okay, because it's not possible to do that in 2 hours. Okay, who's next in terms of the intros?
I can go next.
Okay, Ricky, and then we'll have Sarah.
Hey, everyone. My name's Ricky, and I'm here in California in the United States. And so I am basically just getting started, very new to this. I've been working more word of mouth. I do have a few clients, but I was comfortable doing things word of mouth. But recently, I'm looking to really make the transition from the 9-to-5 job into doing this, doing a spiritual service and being able to make a living out of it. But I've heard some of the previous. I listened to one of the previous webinars. I'm not sure how many there were, but I listened to one of them and talking about putting the service first. And I'm doing like some of the initial things of like I guess what they conventionally recommend, like as far as like coming up with an offer, coming up with the ideal client and the niche and things like that. But but while I'm coming up with the offer, like I was like thinking at some point, it's like, okay, like putting, in a sense, putting the price tag on it. And but I remember Nicolas saying, it's like, focus on the service, focus on the service. I was like, okay, but at what point, like where do I put the price tag on it, right? Like, and I guess I'm wondering, like, in a sense, like how, one of the questions I thought of was like how you put, and basically the price for the services that you offer, whether it's like trainings or soul contract readings and divine healing, um, and things like that. And doing it in a way so that it's still focusing on the service. And is it like about focusing on the intention specifically, like starting with that intention and then letting and knowing that it's going to be guided to the right number, so to speak. Yeah, so that's a big thing, very just starting out.
Okay.
Wanting to make sure I lay some
Okay.
good groundwork.
Yeah. We get into what are you worth? What can the market handle? Where's the sweet spot in terms of what you're prepared to offer, what people are prepared to pay for? We talk all about it on the main training. It's quite a discussion. And then how do I charge? What's the starting point? What's the structure for doing that? So we get into all that sort of stuff, the core principles of that on the main training. So, okay. So, but we're going to start with today. Who's your avatar? Who's your customer? You've got to start at the beginning, which is what you're going to get a taste of. You're going to get the first couple of hours of the training here. So you've got to have a baseline. Who are they? Who are the people that you're trying to serve and sell a product to? With the focus on service first, money second. Very difficult transition for most people to make if you've been in the corporate world, which is return on investment at any cost, which has destroyed the world as a result. Because we're here to raise consciousness. I talk about it as maximum return on consciousness. How can my efforts or your efforts raise consciousness first? So it's a completely different perspective. We talk all about those sort of things. So it takes a while to decondition from what you've been programmed with in the corporate matrix, even in public service, what you're programmed to do. So it's about deprogramming all of that, so you can then reprogram yourself with something at a higher consciousness level that will actually work eventually. Okay, Sarah, nice to see you. How you doing?
Good, thank you. The reason I'm here today is because I have absolutely no idea how I'm going to set up my business. I'm not even too sure at the moment what my offer will be, but obviously it's going to include divine healing. I've just done divine healing 1, same time as Laura. I'm really excited about it, and I've been practicing and have really felt the difference in myself. So this is just ground zero for me. I have got no foundations. The work that I've done previously has, like Ricky's, all been word of mouth, really. So yeah, I'm just really excited to learn about how to put a business offer together, how to do it in a 5D way as well, so that it's authentic.
Yeah, you've come to the right place. Okay. This is designed to take you from ground zero or from wherever you are. So some of the other guys will have different levels of experience in the normal 3D corporate type thing, or running 3D businesses, or at least are already running their practice. Okay. So this is designed to take you from wherever you are with a core set of principles. That's what we're actually doing here. Okay, so let's share the screen again. No one else seems to be turning up. There'll be no strange emails. Just a sec. Just get rid of one thing here. Just going to move my email to the other window so I can keep an eye on it, just in case anyone has any trouble getting in. Let's have a look. Just go ahead and put it on the other side. Gonna do that. I'll share the screen again. Make sure that's okay. That's okay. Right. Okay. All right, so let us start from the beginning. Okay. Actually, I should say a little bit about me. So, get a bit more of my background. So, what did I do? Long time ago in a far away galaxy, I started chemical engineering in New Zealand. And so I had a very strong technical training because I was into science. And I realized I actually didn't want to be an engineer in the last year of the degree, which wasn't very good for motivation to finish it, but I finished it. Then I did government research, which wasn't particularly interesting. And then it got interesting. I went to work for an oil company in New Zealand, and then I discovered that I was very good at building systems to work out on the marketing side of things. I was in sort of marketing and finance, and I was a bridge to the technical type people. So that was the first interesting job I had, to work out running financial models and running market models of where to build gas stations, petrol stations, basically. Then I went traveling, and then I ended up in London, and I worked for Inmarsat, which was a $2 billion global international satellite organization. They're the other ones who supply the satellite dishes for CNN during the Gulf War. So basically, mobile communications wherever there isn't a cell phone, in the air, land, and sea. And my job was in the commercial side was to convert all the brilliant ideas our genius boffins or geeks, as you say in America, would come up with. My job was to figure out how to make money off it, to pay for our $1 billion satellite systems. That was my job, which I did for 7 years. So I had a lot of exposure to how do you take an idea and turn it, actually do market research. How do you turn it to a business case? How do you get our shareholders to front up with billions of dollars, invest in it, and then to sell it? So we actually launched those services. So a lot of experience doing that at a very high level. And then I left that to form this business because it was time to, I got very strong messages from Spirit. It was time to leave. I was 37, I think I was. So, and then I left and learned how to run this business, which was terrifying. Wish I had something course like this to tell me what to do. I spent the first 2 years with my teeth gritted, nearly wore my teeth out. My dentist said had to give me a brace. My teeth would have been flattened from the stress of my 11-2s not knowing how to do this. So I had to find out the hard way. So my goal here is to help you do it the easier way. So I learned by trial and error how to run this business, which was a very long, steep learning curve. So that's how I got here. And hopefully this hard-earned knowledge will help you guys to get there a lot quicker. Okay, so that's how I got here in terms of experience. So what I want to hear from you guys is, what do you think a spiritual entrepreneur is? So there's no right answer with these. What I'm doing is just getting you to start to think about this, trying to get you to break out of the mindsets, wherever your mindset is on this, whatever you've been programmed with, whatever you've believed. And it's fine whatever you've learned or believed, but we're trying to take you from where you are now to the next phase, because you've all expressed a strong desire to become this, so you can escape from the current situation you're in and deliver your service. So anything goes. I just want to get a feel for it. So who would like to share first on that? You need to have an idea of what you want to become in order to become it. So Ricky.
Could you repeat that, please?
So you have to get very clear on who you need to become in order to manifest it. Okay, in terms of creating your business. If you're not clear who you are, or who you need to become, and what you need to create your business, then it's very hard to manifest what you're after. And so I'm just trying to see where you are, probably take you from wherever you are and move forward from there.
Okay. I imagine that it's holding a high vibration of being about the service and trusting that in a sense, the finances, or really anything at all, because it's not just the finance, because sometimes the finances can be about getting something else, like something else that may be needed for our quest or journey, but just trusting that whatever is needed will come and will be met, and all needs will be met, and including the finances, and that it's a matter of being present with that process, so that whatever may come up that for us to engage with, for the parts of the financial process that must be engaged with, will be present for that. But otherwise, whether it's setting up the systems or maintaining them, or somehow outsourcing it, whatever it may be, but then ultimately it's like being able to be about the service itself, and being present with what comes up, whether it's setting it up or maintaining.
Okay, thank you. Other thoughts on what this is? Anything goes. No right, there's no wrong answer. There's no wrong answers here. Laura.
Serving community, and serving people on an individual basis. I hadn't even thought as far as, like sort of like the grander scheme of things.
Yeah, okay, that's good. It's very important to have clear intention, because the universe responds to clear intention and evolving intention. So, okay, Sarah, what do you reckon?
I think for me, it's just having the confidence to deliver, having the confidence to deliver healing, whatever it is I'm going to be doing, in a very authentic way, so that it is about the service and not about trying to make loads of money.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. I think you've all got you got bits and pieces of this thing, so we'll keep going. Yeah, it's a good start. So, a spiritual entrepreneur is someone who's actualizing their soul journey through the expression of their soul purpose through their spiritual business. Okay, so it's beyond just being a job. It's actually an external hologram expression of your soul journey. And if you are aligned with that soul journey with your business, then your business will prosper, provided obviously you run it properly. Okay, it's very important. Okay, so your business is like a workshop. It's like an ongoing workshop for you to grow. Okay, it's not just, see, most people dissociate from their job. There's a job, I earn my money, I go home, I have my personal life. Sound familiar? I just tolerate it. 90% of people are emotionally disconnected from their job, according to Gallup. That was in the 90s. And if you add that for the margin of error, that means most people are just emotionally disconnected from their 3D work. Sound about right? And they don't give a lot. They just put up with it, okay, and hope to retire and live a better life. So this is not that. This is about taking your passion for the different spiritual technologies you have that you love doing, and through your own personal soul journey, manifesting a business which is allowing you to work through all the aspects in your soul contract. And when you're aligned with that, then your business will flourish. Okay, this is very important to understand who you are. Okay, all right, so how do you become a spiritual entrepreneur? How do you get on that path to do that? Begin with the end in mind. It's a Stephen Covey thing from the 7 Habits of Success. So just what I just said then, manifesting a business which is in alignment with the path of the soul, that will allow you to grow enormously. When you run your own spiritual business, you'll grow far more quickly than you would if you were just doing a normal 3D job, because it will challenge you, but it will also give you joy and satisfaction and fulfillment as well. I get great fulfillment helping you guys get out there. In fact, I think this is becoming one of my favorite trainings to teach, and a lot of them have been my favorites, to see the shift that you guys will make. So yeah, so gradually form the picture of who you want to become as an spiritual entrepreneur. As you learn about, this is the fifth dimensional approach, unity consciousness, love-based approach. Okay, because this reality has been poisoned by money. Money is used to control us. We're financial slaves to the matrix. Well, that's starting to end though, given what's going on in the world. And so this is about coming from a higher level of consciousness. Laura, you have to unmute.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's just that like over the last couple of years, I've seen people who had spiritual businesses and they were actually quite sort of big hitters, and they've like a lot of them have ran for the money. They've got involved in affiliate schemes and this, that, and the next schemes, and it's kind of, I don't know. It's just like just seems a bit disillusioning to watch.
We're not creating those sort of businesses here because some people run spiritual businesses just to make money. It depends on their level of consciousness. So
Yeah.
There's a whole range of people. I mean, when I first started out, I was in 2 clinics in London, and some of the people were just doing Reiki because there was good money. They actually weren't that interested in the spirituality. Okay, I can do this. It's a different offering. They were just doing it to make the money. I overheard some of the conversations. Okay, so there's many levels of consciousness, and because of the poisoning of our consciousness with money, which creates greed and avarice, and it's useful because it's used for control. People get sucked into that and just do things to make the money. It's just not a product as far as I'm concerned. We're not talking about that at all. We're talking about giving a gift of service and love so someone can awaken. Plus, that's the highest priority, to serve them. And the second priority, which comes just slightly behind it, is to get paid for it. You're doing something you love doing. Okay.
Yeah. Pay
So
the bills.
Yes. So focusing on the service first and the bills second, it's quite a challenge to do that, especially when you're starting. And once you get to that point, then things will flow. The universe, when you're a service, people will feel. They'll feel that you're here for service and integrity, not just to make the money. Then they will come. But if they feel that you are here just to make the money, they probably won't come as much. Okay. Like we could charge twice the price for our trainings and people would still come, but that would lock most of you guys out who are our main market. And the whole point of why I came and our mirror came was to train light workers like you to make a difference with these high tech level technologies we've brought through. We evolved, learned from other people and evolved them enormously, which is why we charge what we charge. Okay, and some people charge a lot more for soul-contract reading training, but we still deliver a finer training than they do. We consider it the finest training in the world in English, okay, for example, but we've priced it so it's fair for you guys, it's viable, because you are our market and we're here to serve you to make a difference. Okay. So yes, there's lots of people doing stuff. It's a very saturated market and a lot of them are doing it for the money, and that's just their path. Okay, so it's a matter of what do you want to do with this? Okay, so getting this mindset right is critical to the whole thing, even when you're under financial pressure. Okay, it's quite a transition. So there's a lot to learn here. So yeah, focus on your gift of service above all things. Okay, that's the end in mind. Then the money will follow. If you look after if you raise consciousness on earth, God will look after you. But you have to be sensible and grounded as well. Okay. So, and you're delivering it. So this takes time to transition into this. So we don't advise just leaving your job and going cold turkey or anything like that. If you have an existing job, I turned my full-time corporate job into a part-time job for about 6 months because I was fortunately indispensable to the level I was at, and I went down to 2 or 3 days a week and I started this business and gradually transitioned out of that to this business. But it was still very challenging because I didn't know a lot of what I know now, which we're going to share with you. Well, on the main training anyway. We'll share a bit now. So you're delivering your gift of service to your dream client avatar, which is what we were talking to earlier, that you love working with and they love working with you. All right, so it's all about love. It's not about trying to market something hard. It's not about hard marketing to people, like especially like they do in America, through bombardment of people with communications, forcing them to buy something. You're trying to attract the right people who love what you do and are more than happy to pay you for the service that you have. It's a completely different process here. Okay, so we've got to get clear. What is the gift and who's the avatar? That's the beginning of, and if you can get that right, so this is your gift of service. It's finding out, well, what is that? And who's the dream client avatar? Who's that? Because you've got to be clear on those two. And when those two meet, you have a business. Okay? That's the first step. And within that, pricing and everything, all that sort of stuff comes in there. So what is your gift of service that you love to deliver? And who's the dream client avatar who loves to buy this off you? Got to get clear on that. Okay? And feel free to ask questions as we go. You here? Okay.
I had a question about the dream client avatar, unless we're going to cover that in a little bit or something.
We're going to get to that. Yep. Yep. We're going to go explore that dream client avatar. Okay. What is the question specifically, Ricky? Just ask away. So
the question would, so my question was, I guess, around, like, in a sense, what is the dream client avatar? Like, because I feel like when conventional marketing, they focus on what do you call it? Like boxes, it's like, is it like 50 to 60-year-old women who are dealing with, depression, or is it like 30-year-old, men or something, you know what I mean? But I feel like because the way I'm hearing a dream client avatar, can we focus on like more like qualities, like as far as like, not necessarily about like the age, gender, and things like that, but more about internal qualities as well, spiritual qualities,
yeah, no, we're gonna
less
do
physical.
we're gonna do a working process, experiential process. So you're gonna discover who that is, or discover the beginnings of who that is. Okay. But first off, before we think about who that dream client avatar is, we need to think about what is your gift of service to the world? What you're most passionate about and love to do. Okay. So you got to love what you do. It's not just having a skill that you do to pay the bills. That's the living death for most people. What do you love to do? Okay. You start with that. Then we think about, well, who's interested in buying that off us? Okay. So this is the beginning, first step. Okay. Right. Let's look at my schema work here. So, all right. Okay, so what you're most passionate about and love to do can be found in your soul contract. Okay, you all know your soul contract? Anyone not know their soul contract? Janet? Sarah?
I've pulled one off, but my reading with you is not for a few weeks yet. So all I've done is try and interpret it myself, not very successfully, I think. So
did you buy the report?
Yeah.
Or did you buy a report, or did you just do it from the book?
No, it was just literally to pull the chart off.
Oh, you just generated a chart only. You just generated the chart.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You can see it.
Hard to see. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Okay.
it.
So, have you got the book?
Yeah, I've got the book.
Have you read it?
Yes. Retention is difficult. There's so much information in it.
Yeah. Okay. So, your gift of service is to be found in your soul contract, physical and spiritual karmic aspects in your soul destiny. So, the biggest challenges you face, okay, are where you're going to find your gift of service. So in your karmic challenges, you will find your gift of service. All right? That's the key. Because the idea is to turn into the karmic pattern and transmute it. And through the bringing feeling consciousness to it and clearing it with, say, divine healing, you turn it into the positive gift of service. The hardest challenges are your training for your gift of service to bring to the world. For example, in my contract, in physical karma, I've got a 3, which is learning to become worthy and to communicate. So my gift of service is to teach. Be worthy to teach, to show myself, bring out my soul's library of deep soul wisdom and share it with the world. And my spiritual karma is a 9, which is about disempowerment. And my personal job is to learn to become into my power, which has taken many years. And having this contract has helped me enormously. And then to empower others, like empower you guys to set up your own businesses, for example. So that's my gift of service. So it's not something sitting way over there. It's actually the biggest challenge you face is actually your training. It's your training for your personal life, and then it'll go into your professional life. So it's all in your soul contract. Okay. All right. So it's a good starting place. All right. So we're going to do an exercise in pairs to help you get to your true gift of service. Okay. And you can write that down. So, Sarah, have you run the software by the sounds of it to generate that chart? You have to unmute.
I have, yes.
Okay, you open to sharing that, and then I can give you a summary of what your gift of service is, so you got some material to work with.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Why don't you do that? Laura, you've got your soul contract, haven't you? Yeah, okay. So you know what it is. So stop the share here. If you just want to call that up on the software and then share that on the screen, I'll give you a quick summary so you've got a good starting point for this exercise. Okay, so have you got it up on the screen there? Need some help?
Yeah, I'll need some help to do that.
Well, what I can do, I can run the chart at my end. It'll be pretty quick. Hang on.
Okay.
I'll run the chart at my end here. Let me just get this thing set up. I just need to load the software. It's loading it up, and I'll share the screen because screen sharing slows the whole thing down. Okay. Okay. Actually, I can extract your chart from the training. That'll be quicker. Well, I'll find our June training, and I'll find you in there. And you. I got you here. Share the screen there. Okay, Sarah. It'll start sharing in a minute. Okay, you should be able to see the chart. Can you see that? Yep. Okay, so
that's my current name, not
That's
my
your-
birth name.
yeah, you need both. Okay, so
Okay.
you are here, Sarah, to heal your wounded heart and magnetize like-minded people to work with groups of people in pure service to others as a teacher in a very grounded way. to give them a structure of pioneering knowledge. That's your mission. Okay. How's that sound? That's an elevator speech. That's a 30-second summary of why you're here.
Yeah.
Sound
Okay.
about right?
Yeah. Not
Good.
sure I've got all of it yet, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, it takes time. This is for the whole life cycle.
Yeah.
It's not all going to happen at once. So that's the core basis of your gift of service. Okay. And that's the core basis for your business. Okay. How you do that, it's up to you. It's a free will choice of the soul. Okay. All right. So let's go back to this. So because no one else will turn up, so we'll do this. We can just do this with the four of us here. So what we're going to do here is that we're going to let's check what the next slide is. It's that one. Oh yeah, audience. To answer your question, Ricky. So we're going to do about 20 minutes or so here, and talk about this. So and you each have a turn, okay? And what I want you to do is that one person will share their current understanding and comprehension of the gift of service, or from wherever you are, okay? And then what I want is that we'll go around each person, and the other two are listening. I want you to write it down as you go, and then mirror it back to the person talking. Because most of the time we keep this in our head, and it just goes loops and loops and loops. We don't actually put it out to the world. So this is going to help you get clear. So what you say to the other person is, I heard you say. So don't change the words. You just say it the way you heard it. So you're a mirror, so they can get clearer. And when you hear it from someone else, you're going to feel, it gets you thinking about it in different ways. Brings more consciousness to it. It helps you develop. What is that gift of service? Okay. And it's from wherever you are now. Don't worry about feeling I should be more advanced or to better answer this. It's from where you are now. At all times on the spiritual journey, we go from where we are now with what we've got, what you can influence, control, and shift. Okay. All right. So, and as you get realizations about it, write it down as well. Okay. All right. So, who would like to share first from where you are now? Okay. So, this is a barometer to show you where you are and then how to move forward. Who would like to start? Just for a few minutes. I can pick someone, but it's about, you guys came for a reason. So.
Okay, I'll try it.
Okay. Okay, so we're going to have a conversation here. So what we'll do is that why don't we have we'll go around in threes actually. So Rick, we'll do it in pairs going around. That would be probably easier. So Ricky, I want you to just have a conversation with Laura and ask her, well, what do you feel your gift of service is at the moment? Your job's to tease it out of her. Okay.
Okay. Laura, so what do you feel your gift of service is?
Right, okay. I originally thought it was just like every type of sort of healing work, but it seems to be about like sort of getting myself out and assert my confidence, get grounded, and teach others or lead others to be able to do that too.
Okay, so I heard you say that your gift of service is to heal yourself and gain confidence, and to give that to others as well for themselves. I did my best to catch it. Sorry.
Yeah.
I might not have caught all that.
Yeah, so you guys have a bit of a discussion about it. So ask her, how does it feel to have heard that? Okay.
Yeah. So how does it feel to hear yourself say that and share that?
Actually quite good. It's almost like a confirmation because I'd been working on people for other stuff.
Do you have that written down anywhere, or so you can refer back to?
No, but I will write it down now.
Yes, you write that down, Laura, because what's happening is it's reinforcing and getting clearer. So write down
Mhm.
what you got clarity on and any other thoughts that come to you. Okay. What we're doing is we're embodying we're embodying from the higher dimensions your gift of service to start to make it real in the physical world. So that's the first step to actually manifesting it as part of your business.
Mhm. So it's yeah, it's pulling it down for me and helping other people learn how to pull it down for them too.
Yeah, well, we're getting clear. You're going to get really clear within yourself. What is this thing? Because until you're clear, you can't offer something. You got to be clear and aligned with it. It's what we're doing here. Okay. So you guys can have a bit of a discussion about this more. Just talk about how you felt about writing it down, this realization. Just
Yeah. So is there, now that you've said that and written that down, does that open up any further paths, like anything else to come through to, get more clear on? Or...
Not, do you know, it's changed. It's changed my focus.
you
So
find out how, Ricky. What is you
Yeah,
have a
how so?
conversation now? Find out. Well, what does that
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, what do you mean by that? Like how has it changed your focus? Like, in what way?
well, I mean, I had kind of sort of set the intention that like I was going to help anyone that was like suffering physically, mentally, spiritually, blah blah blah. You know, I didn't actually think I'd be involved in trying to lead people or get them to the point they'd be leading.
Hmm. So is that to say that is it that you wouldn't necessarily focus on those other things anymore, or maybe that as part of helping with those other things like the spiritual, physical things like that, but that
That
there's a
could be the
deeper
side
aspect of
hustle.
it.
That could be the side hustle instead of the main thing.
Mm. Yeah, so would you consider still doing those other services as well? Like, but understanding that there's that deeper like undercurrent, like why people are really coming to you, right? Like, yes, they're maybe like coming for physical ailments or things like that, but under the surface, like you know what you're really helping them with, right? And maybe you
Mm.
can bring that up to the surface for them. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, actually, that was quite funny. I mean, I talked about being involved with the QHHT, and like there was a lot of disempowered people have arrived in front of me. So it's like a lot of counseling's taking place. Like it wasn't deliberate, but you know, um, yeah, getting people to kind of refocus and stuff like that. So maybe I need to kind of, well, not maybe, I do need to fine tune it.
Okay, so write all that down, what you just discovered as we go here, Laura. So what we're doing is we're honing in, or what is it really? And you need the mirror of someone else to say stuff and ask you questions to get clear what that actually is. Okay.
Yeah, because a lot of people I found are very invested in their story, rather than actually redirecting themselves. So I'm kind of getting them to refocus. But I didn't actually realise it was just like sort of a disempowerment thing, or a leadership thing. I didn't think that was in it, but it's
Okay, so write those two words down: empowerment and leadership. Okay, you just discovered more components of your gift of service just by having this discussion. It's all in there. We just got to bring into consciousness. That's what we're doing here in the process.
mm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Anything else you want? Yeah, let's just let Laura absorb that. Anything else you guys want to say to each other about this and the discussion, or anything? Has it brought out any other further curiosity or ideas, Laura or Ricky? Do you see anything else you feel you want to say?
Hmm. Um, There was something, but no, it's feeling really good. I'm feeling the clarity coming through, that Laura is sharing. How are you feeling, Laura? Is there anything any further insights or anything else to share?
Well, I was thinking about it and I thought, how does this feel? It's like sort of project yourself, like sort of 5 years, and it's like, but there are people, spiritual people, businesses that are doing this already, and it seems as if it's saturated. And I've got this judgment about some of them that are just in it for the money, and it puts me off being associated in that bag.
Hmm.
How are you going to respond to that,
Do you
Ricky?
I mean, I asked a question. I know how I feel about it, but do you feel that you necessarily have to be associated with them? And are you gonna does that mean that you're gonna do it in that way that you're seeing them do it? And is that something that you can maybe bring that's particularly special in the way you do it?
That's the question. They're trying to sort of portray this wonderful empowerment, whether they're stereotyping themselves as some kind of like sort of goddess type or whatever. And I don't know. I mean, it's like when you listen to them, like half the time they're not actually walking the walk. So what am I going to do to avoid that?
Or maybe just what do you want to do? Just what does that? What do you want to do? And regardless of what they're doing, maybe looking at them can help inform you how you would go about doing that,
Of what I don't want, yeah.
or what you want is what I'm saying. Because you
Well,
all want.
for what to actually devise, like to devise what I want, and that I can pull out of what I don't want. If I can even start there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, yeah, write all that down. Then we're going to move to the next person. So we're getting some clarity here. Usually we find out what we don't want first. So then we get really clear what we want.
So I won't feel so bad then.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, that's good. All right, Sarah, you're going to find out from Ricky, help him discover more about his gift of service, and that'll give Laura time just to absorb what's been going on there. Okay. Why don't you start, Sarah? Just asking, well, where are you on your gift of service?
Hi, Ricky. I am really excited to find out about where you are, where you believe you are on your gift of service to humanity.
Where I believe I feel that I'm still getting clarity around that. I am seeing some things come up with the work that I've done so far. Some of the themes that are coming up with, as far as like people who are plan of working with, will be blockages to feeling, inner blockages and resistance to really feeling, to bringing feeling consciousness online and allowing themselves to really feel what has happened to them in the past, whether it could be like past traumas or things like that, and or even just what they're experiencing in their current day, and kind of and helping people to supporting people in doing that. So it's not because I might see things like they think about their feelings and they rationalize them and justify them, or kind of put them down or something, like, oh no, I can't feel that, like doesn't make sense. But it's really just allowing people to feel and creating that space for them to do that. So there's that, and then also a lot of teaching. I'm noticing that that teaching is really coming through, and there's things that are coming through around that too, like we're starting a podcast with some friends of mine. Yeah, and it's teaching specifically around spiritual growth and development and concepts.
You want to feed that back to Ricky, what you
Thank
heard?
you. Yeah, so you're at the moment you're in a position of gaining some clarity on where you're going. The clients that you're currently getting seem to be people who have a lot of blocks, and you're able to hold the space for them in order for them to realize those blocks and for you to start helping them to identify where those blocks are and perhaps releasing them. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay, and does that bring you a lot of joy in your life when you have a client in front of you who's able to have those aha moments with their blocks and you can help them through those blocks?
Yes, it does. It's a bit of both because sometimes like the people can be really blocked. So it doesn't when those aha moments don't happen, it can be very like intense, the experience to come up to witness and the blockages and to do my best to support because sometimes people aren't open to it, and so I'm kind of that's kind of like in my mind too. It's just like, so like I'm attracting them, but it's not quite always happening. So is that coming from me? But yes, I do when the aha moments happen, it does feel really great, and I do feel like my energy will be very strong. It will heighten and strengthen a lot.
And you clearly have a lot of wisdom and knowledge about this process because you feel that you're also beginning to teach some of these principles to people. And how does that make you feel when you're giving those teachings and people are able to value those and the feedback that they give you?
Yeah, it's very similar. I just experience a heightening of my energy, flowing in my body, in my awareness, and I'm really passionate about it, and so it's just something I love to do. I even just had a discussion with a friend of mine and my wife a few nights ago, and that was really helpful. I hadn't really had that discussion with my wife's friend before, but we ended up connecting around like spiritual principles and teachings.
Wonderful.
So do you want to write down what you've just realized from that, Ricky? The next sort of stage, which bring into this reality your gift of service. Sort of mirroring process here. That was well held, Sarah. Okay. All right. Ricky absorbed that. Any other discussion you guys want to engage in for a few more minutes? Realizations, Ricky, or other things you've just seen, Sarah? Just explore us a little more if you need to.
Has that altered your focus a little bit? Just reading, thinking about those things and having written down those things. Has it helped you to? You said at the beginning that you needed a bit more clarity. I'm just wondering whether you've got any snippets of clarity from that you weren't expecting.
Yeah. It just because I have given some thought to this. I've thought about this before, reflected on it, and what I'm feeling is more like the certainty. And feeling a lot more certain about it. So yeah, it's definitely coming through.
I can actually feel that coming through my energy field. Like I don't know whether Laura you can as well, but it's like really nice feeling of positivity and clarity. I'm getting a big yes. It's really nice. Done.
Yeah,
very good.
Awesome.
Very good.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
All right, Laura, your time to facilitate Sarah to help her get clear on her gift of service.
Hi, Sarah. Could you tell me what your gift of service is to the world?
You're going to have to work hard, Laura. I'm at a point of no particular focus. I mean, so tricky for me.
That's
It's
fine.
definitely something to do with healing modality. Really, really have enjoyed the divine healing process. I've done other healing modalities, you know, like years ago, picked them up, put them down.
Write this down, Laura.
Haven't really enjoyed them.
Laura, write this down, Laura, because you're going to have to feed this all back to her. Okay, word for word, within reason, because to help the process. Okay, keep going.
So the divine healing has definitely hit the spot for me. So I'm guessing I obviously need to do a lot of work on myself, because one of the things that put me off using the other modalities was feeling that they were inauthentic and that I was just transmitting something that someone else had told me without it feeling very real for me. So I think I've got quite a lot of work to do surrounding my ego and various blocks and things so that I can feel much more clear that what I'm doing is what my spirit wants me to do, and not just sort of repeating something that someone else has taught me for the sake of it. Yeah.
So are you looking for something to to create yourself, or something to innovate on?
Yes, sort of the structure of the divine healing, definitely very powerful. But I also need to, I think for myself, need to tap into my own creativity and do something with that too, so that I feel like it's authentic for me.
So if it's authentic for you, it should project into the greater world. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so Laura, do you want us to say to Sarah, I heard from you the following. So then you're mirroring for her, so she's going to get clearer, because it's the thing she wants the most is clarity. And Sarah, if you write down whatever comes out of that process, this is how we get clear on the gift of service.
Okay. Sarah, basically, you shared that you'd done a lot of healing modalities before, that hadn't really quite hit the mark for you, and it's sort of leaving maybe that kind of like sort of that feeling that they weren't authentic, or perhaps it just didn't hit the mark. It didn't feel authentic. There was something not quite right, not for you. Divine healing has definitely hit the spot for you, and you realise it's going to give you a lot to work on for yourself. You know, like sort of transmitting something authentic and working to do with getting rid of or shedding ego and your blocks. You want to clear those things, and in essence, the modality that or the niche that you want to bring forward is that you want to create something without repeating what you see as the mistakes that were apparent in the other modalities, that you fell short. So there's a sense of sort of hankering for structure, tapping into your own creativity so you can remain authentic.
See what comes up for you based on the mirroring there, Sarah. Just sit with that.
Yeah, I mean the structure of divine healings definitely gives me much more confidence to believe that whatever I'm going to bring through is going to be genuine. That's what I've got to hold in mind now, I think.
So as a holding place, the point that you just, the whole issue's over the structure of whatever you would design.
I think it's the structure of the divine healing just gives me the confidence that I can create something that will be genuine and authentic. So because I understand it, I believe in it. I've seen the process working. So yeah, for the first time, I just really think it's my foundation. It's where I start working on myself, and then once I've got enough confidence, then to bring it forward for other people. Yeah,
Yeah, that self-belief in it.
yeah, yeah,
And in yourself.
yeah,
Find your foundation.
yeah. Clear away the crap first, and then yeah, awesome.
So do you want to write down what your realizations were from that? Because this is if we look at later, because you guys are you're ramping up in consciousness as the mission is revealed. That's what we're doing here. Okay. Because you guys try to suppress all this as long as possible, but writing it down means it's on the paper. It can't blank you out again. What you just discovered here. Okay.
Well, I never knew that I had to sort out my leadership problems.
Well, you're going to discover an awful lot here about what's going on. You see, and these are all your discoveries are core components of your offer or your gift of service for your business. This is the most important thing, defining what is it. If you know what it is and you're passionate about it, love it, then they will come.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. But if you're not clear what you're here to offer, no one's going to come. Well, not many are going to come because you're not putting out a consistent energy to the world. Okay. All right. Let Sarah finish that. So this is a process of discovery of what's already in you, all of you. It's what this work's about. It's got to bring it into consciousness. You have everything you need to do this. Just need to discover it and wrap process around it to support you getting it out to the world. So just so you know, there is a plan. You all have a plan from your higher self, very carefully worked out plan. You don't have to make this up. You just got to get out of your own way, which is what we're doing here, and discover what it is. Okay, your left brain doesn't have to struggle to figure this out. It's not about figuring it out. It's about feeling it out and opening to consciousness, and the plan will unfold. This is how you run a spiritual business. It's not like a normal business. There is no business plan in the 3D sense. It's a spiritual plan. Get clear, get aligned. It will start to show itself, just like it did in the past half an hour. It's starting to show itself. This is how you run a spiritual business. Okay, so a little bit of feedback now. How did you each find that? Okay. How did you each find it? Let's start with Laura. How did you find that whole process?
I mean, that was quite illuminating because it actually I've been wondering about niche acts and all the rest of it because I was so kind of diversified. And that's it, kind of like hitting the head. It's like, right, okay, well, like, so get people, you deal with that, get people to deal with like their kind of like empowerment and enabling them kind of thing, and half their problems at least would be sorted.
Yeah. Okay.
It's really cool. Thanks for that.
All right. Ricky, what have your realizations been? What have you got from that process? What do you take away?
A lot of I just found very affirming. Realizing that a lot of it was just self-doubt. Is this really what was coming through? So before this, and now what's coming through is just the affirmation and a certainty that what I've been feeling is correct.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Sarah, what have you got from the process?
I seem to have gone from a complete lack of focus to now being, getting a lot more clarity about what I need to do and the order I need to do it. So it's really enlightening. So thank you. Thank you, Laura, who's just disappeared.
She go.
Amy Thorpe.
She'll be back.
Yeah, that was really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, good. Right, and she's gone to the loo, I think. So, okay. So let's get to the next thing. All right. Who's my audience? In fact, I need to go to the bathroom. She should be briefly. So if you need to go, this is a good time. Then we're going to just a couple of minutes. Then who is my audience? Okay. Is Laura turned up again or not?
Not yet.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Let me see if I can call her. So we really need her to explain this. Okay. Find her. Guys on mute. Why would you do that?
You're muted. I don't know if I'm talking now.
All right, sorry. Zoom dropped out at my end as well. Yeah, we needed you back, Laura, so I can explain the next part of the process. So, okay, it's just gonna should start sharing. It's waiting. Can you see the screen? Hang on.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. I just need to get the other machine running. It's stopped recording. Hang on. Why is it stopped? To log the other machine back in because the whole thing dropped out. Give me a minute or two. Okay, this thing is going to activate itself. That's logging in then. Okay, so who is my audience? It's what we were talking about earlier, at the very beginning. So often when we start this business, we ask the question, is there anybody out there? How many of you guys have asked, is there anyone out there even interested remotely in what I'm doing? Yeah, sound familiar? So once you've got clear on your gift of service and you're starting to tell people about it, then you'll start to get clear on, well, you got to get clear on who am I going to tell about this? We need to know the agenda, age range. I mean, for example, 80% of the people who come for what I do are a woman between 30, well, I don't know, 70. Okay. And they're usually professionals, or either therapists already, or they're in the corporate world and they're wanting to make a shift, or previously been in the corporate world or run their own business, 3D businesses. They're wanting to make a shift. Okay. And they are at a reasonable level of consciousness. They've done a reasonable amount of work on themselves. They're very committed to their spiritual path, will do whatever it takes to grow. And they're usually pretty conscious. They're not the types who are going off just to do Reiki to make money or something like that. Or any other therapy just to make money. Okay, they want to serve. So you've got an idea who they are, and then you got to find out, well, where do they hang out? Okay, so where do they hang out on social media? Where do they physically hang out? How do you find these people? What forums are they on? Are they on Facebook? Are they on Twitter? Do they watch TikTok? Instagram? So you got to work out where do they hang out. So, and that will determine how you will market to them. Okay, how you'll find them. All right. So it took me a while to work that out. So that's who I address, but you got to work out, well, who are you going to address? Okay. So, right. So we're going to do this exercise again, but we'll do it with 3 of us to talk about this. Okay. So we'll do this again. What we'll do in this case is that Laura, you're going to ask Ricky about this. Who is his audience? And we'll have a discussion about that. And same process as before. Write down what he says and feed it back, and then just have a conversation for a short while. And then Ricky, you work out your realization. So just give it your best shot. Because the thing is that with this work, it's about saying, I think it's probably about this. And then you putting a stake in the ground. Then it gets clearer and clearer. We can go through this quite a few times. And don't be scared that it's the right thing to say. It's not the right thing to say. Just put it out there. And then it'll get clearer, just like it did in the last process. Okay, so. Okay, Laura, do you want to ask? Yeah.
Sure. Ricky, just wondering who your audience is, who your perfect avatar would be.
Hmm.
You can see I've left the presentation up there, so you can see, Ricky, the key points you've got to
Yeah.
focus on.
Who pops up for you, gender-wise, for example?
Gender-wise, I'd say women.
So you've got women there. What kind of age range?
Age range. I 40 to 60.
40s to 60s. And what kind of income level do you think they're hitting in at?
I would say, man, they're definitely professionals, working professionals,
So okay, they're sort of professionals,
probably executive level.
executives. Okay. What level of consciousness do you think they hold?
I'd say a high level of consciousness.
High level of consciousness. And their degree of commitment to the spiritual path.
Yeah, I would say a high, I'm sorry, just kind of putting them together. So a high level of spiritual consciousness, probably with some blockages, going on, and a total, complete commitment to the spiritual path.
Total commitment. How spiritually evolved are they?
I'm not sure. Maybe it can be some clarity of the difference between level of conscious and spiritual evolvement. What that means.
It's very similar.
Well, the level of
It's very similar. Level of consciousness could be someone who's totally asleep, someone who is just waking up, someone who's moving from fear into love. It can be someone who's in pure love, unconditional love. This level of consciousness. So how spiritually evolved is pretty much a similar question thinking about it. I just did it a couple of different ways, just because people come at it in different ways in terms of the way they look at people.
Yeah, that makes more sense. As far as the level of consciousness, yeah, I would still say high then. But how spiritually evolved they are. I guess I want to say sort of like maybe like a low level of spiritual evolvement, or something. I feel like it's coming back to the blockage, and so it's kind of like, like they're advancing, but maybe there's just like something like kind of like weighing them down. Is how I would
so
describe
they're
it at this time.
advancing despite blocks, yeah, or moving despite blocks. So whereabouts do they hang out?
Oh man,
it's very important question.
Yeah, I can see that. Let's see.
LinkedIn, Twitter, Insta, TikTok,
Yeah,
Facebook.
I'd probably say Facebook and LinkedIn. I'd be on it, but it's just a guess at this point. I'm not certain. Just kind of going with what's coming through.
Do you think that are they already in their spiritual businesses?
Are they already in a spiritual business? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
No, it's not necessarily people who are in spiritual business. It's people who how do you say integrate the spirituality in their business.
Mhm.
A very important point. Write that one down, Laura. So it's starting to come out of Ricky, the actual the audience.
Yet to integrate. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Spiritual
he's talking about integrating
into their business.
spirituality in the business. Okay, all these little things are very important because it determines the whole way you'll target and market and deliver to these people. This stuff. Okay, so we're aware of time. So Laura, do you want to read back to Ricky? Just read back to him. You know, I heard the following. So Ricky, you got some real gems here. So you want to write this down. And what she says, but also what you realize as a result of that. This is very important.
Okay, so Ricky, what I heard was the gender you were actually like targeting was for women, age range between 40s and 60s, income level, you're looking at executives, professionals, level of consciousness, you thought a high level of a consciousness with some blocks, degree of spiritual path, they have a total commitment to, and where are they, or how spiritually involved are they? You're seeing them as like quite high, but they're advancing and they're moving through spiritual blocks, and they hang out in Facebook and LinkedIn, but they've not yet started spiritual businesses. If anything, they've yet to integrate a spiritual element into their business.
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that. How did that feel to hear that, Ricky?
That felt really great. I'm just really excited over here. So thank you so much for that, Laura. Really appreciate it.
Yep. All right. So Sarah, your turn to facilitate Laura in the same process, finding out who is my audience.
Okay, hi Laura. Perhaps you could tell me about gender-wise who you think is going to be your audience.
I think it's going to be mainly women, and they'll be 40s to, well, no, actually, sorry, no, mid-30s to probably like sort of mid-60s, into their 70s. It's quite a broad brush.
Any thoughts on income level?
Well, half of them will be retired.
Yeah.
But there will be, I mean, yes, there's people that they'll have disposable cash, although maybe they're not like at the high hitting end of the bracket.
Mm-hmm.
And level of consciousness, they're aware. Let's see now. They're aware and they're trying to move through what they've discovered is holding them back.
And thoughts on their degree of commitment to a spiritual path?
I've got a sense that they are toying. There is a curiosity. They are willing to push through if they know it's worth committing, if they know it's going to be worth the squeeze. Some people are just dallying around, just, I don't know what that is, if they're just waiting for some kind of green light. They're waiting for further verification or confirmation.
Waiting for you to come along, Laura.
Yeah, touche. Oh, yeah.
Sway them into it.
Yeah.
How spiritually evolved do you feel they are? It's kind of the same question, really, isn't it?
I think they are they're relatively evolved. Now that they've realised like the benefits, that like they're beginning to see headway in what they're doing. Because they're not they're not at the starting point. They're not. They're actually just. It's almost like most of them are midway through, and some of them have actually got a chance of hitting the final furlong there, for their breakthroughs. Yeah.
And where do they hang out, Laura?
Communities. There are communities. There's Facebook, Instagram, not so much. TikTok, definitely not. LinkedIn. The professionals amongst them would be using LinkedIn. Yeah, but I think there's a physical presence about this as well, for word of mouth and things like that.
Okay, good. Want to
Thank
hear
you.
what you told me?
Yes, please.
Okay, so gender, mainly, well, women, mid-30s to mid-60s, going on to 70s. So you feel that most of them are going to be retired, but with some disposable income. They are reasonably aware. Some of them are going to be making moves, moving through their blockages, toying with the idea of spirituality, but willing to commit to going forward.
Yep.
When you provide them with your skills, Laura. Yeah, they seem to be relatively evolved, seeing headway. And the places you want to target are Facebook and LinkedIn and the social media side, and then through community and word of mouth.
Right, that's great. Thanks very much. It doesn't sound so alien after all. Oh dear, terrific. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Ricky, can you facilitate Sarah through the same process, please?
Okay, so ready to work out your audience?
Yeah.
All right, great. So what gender is your audience?
I'm kind of surprising myself with this, but I think it's probably both male and female, and I think it's going to be an age range quite young, actually. I think it's going to be like late teenagers to mid 20s, maybe up to 30s.
Okay. How about their income level?
For that reason, probably fairly low.
Okay. And how about their level of consciousness?
I think that age range are actually more aware than we give them credit for. So I think it's going to be, I think they do want to operate from a position of love rather than fear. So yeah, I think they're going to be reasonably aware on a kind of, I don't think they're going to be committed to a spiritual path, but I think they're kind of automatically going to be on a spiritual path without them necessarily realizing it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so how about their level of, or how do you say, how spiritually evolved are they?
Yeah. I think probably that they're going to be reasonably connected to their soul purpose. But not necessarily aware of that. But I think they're going to be, yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it?
Okay.
They're
And
kind of reasonably spiritually evolved.
where do they hang out?
Social media, isn't it? It's going to be all of them. It's not, well, not necessarily Facebook, but probably Instagram and TikTok. It's going to be the two main ones, I would imagine.
Okay, and so do you want me to read this back to her first, Nicolas?
Yep. Yeah, we
Want to
need
do that?
Yeah,
Okay,
we
all right.
need to get on with it.
Yeah. So
We're nearly finished.
for gender, for gender, we have male and female, age range 19 to 30, income level fairly low, level of consciousness operating from a position of love and rather than fear, and reasonably aware. Degree of commitment to spiritual path. They're not committed to a path, but on a path, and they're reasonably connected to their soul purpose, but not necessarily aware of it, and reasonably spiritually evolved. And they hang out on social media, probably in Instagram and TikTok.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah.
And how do you feel about what came through?
Yeah, I'm pretty amazed actually, because that wasn't what I was expecting at all. But that's just what came through. So I wasn't expecting the kind of young audience, but that kind of makes sense now, actually, given what I've been doing for the last sort of 20 years. So yeah.
Why, how does that make sense?
Thanks.
How does that make sense? Just a little bit.
Just because I dropped my corporate life to have children, and I've been very devoted to that process and really wanted to kind of understand where they're coming from and where their friends are coming from, and how their friends, you know, interact with them and how that makes them feel. So it's been kind of a process of counseling both of them through social interaction. So yeah, I feel like I've got a bit of a handle on that could come through in a creative way to help them not make such a big mess of their lives that I did. How's that?
So we got some real clarity there, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Cool. So, Ricky, how did you find that process in terms of getting clarity on the audience? Just briefly, I'm going to just check from the other two.
I found it amazing. You know, I think hearing you talk about the difference between level of consciousness and spiritual evolvement was very helpful for me. Because after I finished my brief part, and I was and Laura and Sarah were taking a turn, I cleaned mine up a little bit. I was looking at mine and realized I was like, okay, like I could already work on it a bit more and get even more clarity. So I really appreciated doing that, and it's very helpful.
Great. Laura, how was that process for you?
It was really clarifying, but I mean, I'm looking back at it and I'm thinking I've kind of got these clients. Do you know what I mean? And it's and I actually was wondering, it's like, so are these my clients kind of thing? But it's kind of pushed the ball back to me again, you know. So good stuff. Thank you.
Okay. Any final words you want to add, Sarah? in terms of realization there? The surprise you got?
Yeah, just still downloading it, to be honest. It's just crazy. But yeah, thank you. That was really, really useful. Just brilliant. Thank you.
So now you have gift of service, audience. You got much clearer in this 2 hours. So therefore, you can you've got out all the fuzzy bits. You got much clearer, and that'll keep refining. It's about having those two meet. That's the next step. And that's the core of your business. And we explore in the main training how you glue it all together. How do you get them to meet and actually create your business? Okay. So I'll talk a bit about more what we cover in the main training to actually do that process. Okay. So all right. So things we're going to cover in the main training are, when it comes up, we will cover, done the first two bits, okay? We'll talk about how to dissolve your ego so you can access more of your soul energy and consciousness. Why your home energy is equally important to actually running your business, okay? We'll work more on, we'll work on the audience some more. How do you connect with your tribe? Obviously, we've started that process. We have to find out, well, where are they? Yeah. And then the key to business success is an inside job, not an outside job. It's not about just business process and having an MBA and doing all the right things to maximize return on investment. It's your own inner emotional journey. And it's about reconciling the feminine and masculine within you to deliver your gifts to the world, because we're offering a very feminine offering with the spiritual tools, but it needs a masculine wrapping of business process. It's sufficient to deliver it to the world. And how to reconcile those two, which is a big challenge for most, especially women practitioners who've been burnt by the masculine patriarchal matrix. How to stay connected with the training energy and community. Because most Lightworkers have a default program of doing it all by themselves, which is really hard work. How to escape from the corporate matrix and conditioning. So it's actually a hindrance to what we're trying to do here. What is the most effective form of marketing your gift of service to your optimal client avatar? Why business names are so important. It's all about frequency to attract the right audience. What is the best way to roll out your services? So you start to deliver your gift of service to your audience. Ideal client avatar. How to deliver that. What channel of market to market? How are you going to communicate this to them? And then we talk about the sales funnel webinars, which is my means of delivering my gift of service to my ideal client avatar, you guys. Okay, so I will explain the design and psychology of the sales funnels we use at Centre for Conscious Ascension. It does result, the sales funnels had produced, I had sort of top people in the internet marketing teach me this. They grew this into a global business as a result of those. They drive the whole business. And what's my spiritual business plan? How do we plan in business? In a spiritual business, because all 3D businesses have a business plan, but a spiritual business plan is a little bit different, but you've got to have one. And then we'll have some guest speakers that will give you, after the 2 days, which is about touching on all the areas I've shown you here, things you need to be aware of and start developing. They'll explain to you how do you practically put that into action in the 3D world to actually create your business. We'll talk about what they do to help you do that. And remember I said this is an 18-month to 24-month process if you're serious about this, especially if you're serious about leaving the corporate world, because you've got to be retrained, completely retrained for it to succeed. Okay. Most people who leave most people start their own businesses, 80% of them fail because they don't have the right structure. They don't actually know what they're doing. They lack the structure. And the purpose of this work that we're doing here is to give you that structure so you succeed. Okay? Give you the structure and support and community so you succeed. So everyone who comes into us succeeds. There's no point in starting unless you're going to succeed. Okay? So that's what we cover in 2 days. So it's intense. It's all the key points so that you've got all your pieces of your structure. So okay, and then you'll feel confident that okay, now I know what I'm doing. Now I just got to get on with it. It's sort of not like these big missing gaps, because you all came here and there were a lot of big missing gaps. You sort of got a general idea what you wanted to do, but our goal with the 2-day training is to give you all the pieces. You can see, oh, here are the important things I've got to keep an eye on, all the different balls in the air, and a lot of them you didn't even realize were there. You just discovered here. Because you miss one of those, then it's not going to work. So all the pieces you have to put in place, and how to glue the whole thing together to make it flow. Okay. How's that sound? Good help? That's what we're going to do. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Some people try and reinvent the wheel, and it turns out to be pretty square a lot of the time. Okay, because you're coming from a place of conditioning in the matrix, which is not it's conducive towards slavery. What we're doing here is we're moving you towards sovereignty. Public being a sovereign, multidimensional being, which is a complete anathema to the matrix. The matrix will never teach you this because it doesn't want you to be sovereign. Whereas our entire goal is for you to become sovereign and empowered. So you can do this. Any questions? That was a brief taste. So we have 2 days of this to really get you deprogrammed and get you really thinking about how to go about doing this for real. Some science.
What are the dates in September? Sorry, what are the dates in September?
Saturday and Sunday, 16th of September. Marketing and manifesting your business. Okay. Just type that in. Don't put the www, just type that in, and it'll take you to the page on the website.
Okay, great.
All right.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
So this started off as an experiment a couple of months ago. It's just downloaded when I was about to yoga, and my team said, sit down at the computer, we have the training to download. I said, I want to do my yoga. They said, sit down. And an hour and a half later, I had the whole training. They just downloaded the whole idea. I've been thinking about this for years. They said, here's how we're going to do it. And people just loved it. Have a look at the testimonials. They just loved it. So, any questions or comments? How did you find that?
I just loved it, Nicolas. I really did. And it's just, I don't know what to say. It's just so divine timing for me. Just because I really would like to, have a spiritual business, and but had no idea how to go about it. And suddenly, I came across you, did the divine healing, loved that. Now there's this. It's just brilliant. So thank you. Just amazing.
Yeah, well, it means you're organized. Your higher self's organized me to be in your life because it's time.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Laura, how did you find that? I'm just interested in how.
It was great confirmation because, I thought, I was like surrounded by these people, and it was like, oh, I don't know if I should actually, like what's my input here, because am I making any difference? But, this is the bunch that I'm meant to be with, so that's been like sort of really helpful.
Yeah. God said,
rather than like, sorry.
Go on.
Yeah, because it was just like, well, there's still like other people in the universe kind of thing that I could actually been serving. And it's like, well, it's like it's working out. It's just not earning money as such. Do you know what I mean?
Well, money is secondary. A few percent
Mhm.
high. We're here to serve. If you focus on service, the universe sorts out the money.
I do agree with that primarily, but then again, if there's bills to pay, there's bills to pay. There's a reality of it as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, well, we're focusing on it being paid. I mean, they did a study. It was a Human Resource magazine did a study, and they discovered that companies that focus on service make more money. It's done in America, make more money than companies focus on the bottom line. So that tells you everything. The service
Yep.
is a much higher frequency than greed and avarice. So then will
Well,
naturally
it does, because goodwill comes into it. That's a part of it as well. It's like sort of actually giving over what you said you'd deliver. Do you know? That goes a long way as well.
Yeah, we get into that a lot in the training. So Ricky, how was that compared to where you were when you started? How are you doing now, having experienced all this?
I'm feeling really good. I think that I've been feeling I've been working on things like this more or less on my own, just kind of just telling myself, kind of have like a mantra, focus on the service, like focus on the service. And but I really appreciated this space because even just going over these questions, it's like I could just feel how much the answers were coming in, like really clear, like downloads, like when I was answering these questions. And whereas I feel like I can do my best to make the space on my own, but something about this communal space and the space you're holding, Nicolas, it's really allowing for the insights and downloads to come through really clear. And just it surprised me, honestly. I wasn't expecting my answers to be those things, but I was like, okay, that's what I'm getting. So I really appreciate it.
See, the answers are in each of you for your business. My job is to help you discover what you already is unconsciously in you from the soul. So we're unpacking the mission in you. That's what we're doing. It's all there. The entire business is inside you. We're just helping you reveal it in the right structured order. Because as I said about 10 minutes ago, the plan, you already have a plan. You just don't know it. But we're going to tease the plan out of you. So you don't have to go outside and write a big business plan and all that sort of stuff. You just got to feel inside. It's all there. That's the whole purpose of what we do with marketing and manifesting your business. To connect to the internal plan that's already there, turn it into an external reality. And when you're aligned to it, then it all happens. I mean, it doesn't mean it's not challenging, but the main thing is when you're aligned to the right plan, according to your higher self, you've got a much better chance of it happening than your left brain trying to figure it out, which is you only have 50-50 chance of getting it right. So the odds are toss of the coin of getting it right. Okay. So this is a much more graceful way of manifesting your business. You have to work at it. At least you know you're working on the right thing, rather than trying something where the mind says and you just go, a few months down the road or years down the road, that didn't work at all well. If I just listened to what my heart said, it would have gone a lot better. Okay, guys, thank you for that. Thank you for complete engagement. I felt that went really well. You guys have got some real clarity. So go and sit with that, because that's the seed of your business. And keep journaling. You get other inspiration, just write it down or record it on your phone. Don't hold back, just because you've opened the channel, okay, to what we call the visionary template, to the plan, which I talk a lot more about in the training. And you just got to progressively download it and it will just unfold. So you've already designed this, just catching up with yourself. Your little mental body's thinking, oh, I've got to figure this out. It's nothing about figuring it out. It's actually about just getting out of your own way and letting it arrive. So it's everything that it's a complete opposite to the way you've been conditioned in the matrix and 3D work, what we're doing here. So it takes a bit of an adaptation, which is normal. I want you to learn it the easy way rather than the real hard way, which is what I had to learn. So, okay, any final questions or comments? All right. Okay, so this video will be on the YouTube channel because there's a bunch of guys who couldn't make it because of work, probably. But and it'll be shared on the practitioner groups because there's quite a lot of interest. So, because my aim is to get as many practitioners actually launch properly with this. That's the whole point. So you make a difference in the world. Because if I can launch you guys, hundreds of you guys out in the world, that means my efforts leveraged enormously, and it means that your effort so far is leveraged in terms of getting this far with us. Ricky.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned launching, and I know there's going to be a few months between now and September. Is anything? I still aim to continue working on these things and working on, in the sense, the launching process between now and then. But any recommendations about something to practice between now and then?
You can buy the recordings of the previous training if you really want. This is for people who are in a real hurry. Then you just pay the difference and come on the live training, which is another level altogether if you really need it in a hurry. Okay, they are available. If you go into that same link on the right hand side, you can get the previous training. But we do a lot of facilitation on the live one. Okay, but if you need a bit more structure, that's available to you. So if you just pay for that video, you get access to it. Okay, the guys know you're going to do this, and then you pay the difference later. So if you're in a real hurry, that's why we did it. Because everyone said we want it now. So that's why we did that. But if you
Nice,
come
nice. Okay.
if you come to the training directly, you'll hit it more cold and fresher. There's this question of what you need, because some people are trying to get out of their jobs now. So that's why we made it available. It's like, I want it now, Nicolas, because I can't take it anymore. I want it out. So please give me the structure. That's what people are saying to me. So that's why we do that. So it's up to you.
Okay. Okay, no, I mean, I just not like quite like I do plan to go to the in-person one. I just suppose like I meant more like I don't know, just anything you may
Yeah, well,
suggest, between now and
you could start with the previous recordings, so you get the first cut.
okay.
But what that means is that when you come to the live one, you'll go deeper, okay? Because you've already, your structure's in there, and you hear it a second time live, and you facilitate it, and you're going to go much deeper because you're not having to absorb a lot of new stuff. You know, the basic idea, and then
I think I'm interested in it.
it'll be very clear for you. So we did one with the phonetics training. I just finished teaching. All the guys that watched the videos, so we had a completely different training because they were ready to go for it. They knew exactly what they wanted. They had core structure. They weren't struggling to get up the foothills. They were trying to climb the summit because they had a much better idea. That's why we do this, because we want to maximize your ability and the speed of doing this, simply because you guys want to get on with it. Most of the guys want to get out of their corporate jobs, and so that's why we do it like that. So it's up to you if that feels right.
And is that video at the same website, the Manifesting in Marketing, or
I'll show you.
I forget the exact URL, but
I'll show you. Show you. Yeah. Okay. I'll just load it up and I'll share the screen. And it's also for the guys who can't actually make it there, but need the work. That's the other reason we did that. So I'm just finding it here. I'll share the screen. So yeah. So this is marketing and manifesting your business. Okay, it's under trainings, or click on business trainings, or it's just you just type this in without a www with .com, it'll take you here. So this describes the whole training. Okay, it's over 2 days. It's the same schedule we normally have, 12:30 to 8:30 p.m. UK time. So for you, Ricky, it's 4:30 in the morning, but it beats flying. Okay. So this is the previous webinar, testimonials. So this is the training itself here. This is the videos of the previous training. Okay, if you really want to, it sounds like you want something now. Okay, so this is the deeper way of getting into it. Okay, so the training's normally $295. Okay, but you can buy the videos for $229. You get access to the same videos, and then what happens then is that you just pay the difference. Okay, if you upgrade, you just pay the difference of £66. So you pay the same total price in the end as if you just came on the live only. So you get an early look at it, so you can start work on it, and then you can bring some of those questions to the training. Okay. All right. And we have if you do that, we have a Q&A. Actually, this is where the question Q&A on the 26th of July. So you've got 22 days. If you watch those videos, 3 weeks later, you can come and ask me whatever you want. That's included, the Q&A. Okay, so you can get underway, and there'll be another one on the 3rd of November as well. Okay, that's actually for post after this course, because there'll be a video for that will be available. So the idea is ongoing support to launch your business. Okay. Sound okay?
That's great. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So you can start now. Just click on purchase videos and you can start now, and Antonio will have it sorted out. You get access to the previous presentation, and you can start now. Rather than wait till September, and come in September and just polish it off, because yeah, you'll have a lot. You have the Q&As. If you Q&As are there, you get a second pass. You always go deeper on a second pass for this stuff. So okay, we've learnt this from the fanatics to get people out there, because those guys always say, we want it now, can't wait till the next training. Okay, all right, thanks guys, that was fun. Okay, so may your businesses prosper. Go forth and prosper.
Thank you so much.
Difference in the world. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.